Hey guys, what is up? I am TitoTheOG, and it is time for the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 Jakks Pacific merchandise to be found on shelves. Now today is Saturday the 17th, August 17th, and before then, these guys have been showing up in Walmart stores, but they had a street date on them, so people weren't able to purchase them. People have been getting workarounds to getting them. I managed to find them in my local Walmart, but they took them out of my cold, heartless hands. But fortunately enough, I went back today and the street date was released, and here they are now. These guys look absolutely amazing. I have my gripes with them, but we're gonna get into that whenever I unbox them. Here we have the 2.5-inch Shadow and then the Sonic. Sonic is new and he's different from the original 2.5, and Shadow is completely new and he looks very cool. And it is odd because to this day we still haven't had a proper reveal for Shadow as for like what he looks like or anything like that. Oh yeah, also this wave also contains a new variant of Knuckles, which I didn't pick up. I didn't really care for him. And they also have the same Eggman from Sonic 2. I didn't care for him either, so I didn't pick him up. If anyone wants the barcodes, there's a barcode for that. They should share the same barcodes, so just use whichever one. Everyone's mainly here for the 5-inch figures. Now, if we get one and turn it around, we could see there's a wave of 3. We have Shadow, Sonic, Tails, and Eggman. But I got a full box of them and there were only 2 Sonics, Shadow, and an Eggman. This is from Walmart, and Walmart does their case packs a little differently. Other stores get a full, like, regular wave of characters, like every single character, but Walmart gets 2 Sonics, 1 Shadow, and either Eggman or Tails. Unfortunately, I got the one with Eggman, so I wasn't able to find a Tails. So, I won't be unboxing him yet. So first off, let's just jump into unboxing Sonic. Here's his box. It's a little messed up. It's not too big of an issue for me since I'm going to be opening him. Let's take a look around. And we have the Sonic 2 renders right there. We got Shadow up top from Sonic 2. And then on the back it says, Sonic is on a roll. He saved the world twice, but who's counting? And has 2 besties for his team. But will they be enough to handle a devastating new threat? Referring to Shadow. And there's 22 points of articulation. We can see they have a very new approach to their movie figures. Before they were 4 inches, now these guys are 5 inches. And they have a lot of more articulation compared to the 4-inch figures. We could even see here they got the butterfly joints, diaphragm joints, or I guess if that's what you call it, it's like a stomach joint. You got, bicep swivel, thigh swivel. He even has like ankle articulation, and he has fists too. It's very interesting. And as you can see, they kind of like adapted the Mario movie, like lenticular eyes, 3-dimensional eyes. So like if he's like this, he kind of looks like he's looking at the camera. They put these on these figures, which is like my main gripe with these, but let's just see how he looks out of box. Whoa, this is kind of cool. Okay, need to get a feel for this guy. Okay, there's like a click for his legs. I don't know if y'all could hear that. He feels very, what the heck? Oh, I thought it was like he stepped in poop. No, it's just his barcode number or whatever it is. This guy feels great. Holy crap. The leg articulations, oh, look at that movement there. He could like stand on his toes. This is great. Let me see the fists. I'm not a fan of these hands. He suffers like the Jazzwares Superposer crab hands with these kind of articulated hands. I would have preferred if one was like a resting hand, or if they were both just fists. I think that would have been better. Or if they even gave him something to, use these hands for, like an accessory. But he doesn't come with any accessories. Here on the back view, you can see his quills are kind of like, he has some darker quills. I don't know, as if they're supposed to light up, but they don't light up. So I don't know what the purpose of those are, other than maybe just to make them look better. But man, this articulation is really solid. Oh yeah, let me check how does this work? There we go. It's only very slight articulation to his stomach. It doesn't really allow him to crunch all that much. But he feels sturdy. Like, he doesn't feel flimsy. Like, if I were to grab the Sonic Prime action figures and flail them around, their joints would be looking like Woody from Toy Story. Like, they'd be ragdolling all over the place. But this guy is great. His facial expression is a little odd. His eyes, they're okay. They're a little too big for my liking. He ends up looking kind of weird in some angles. If it was up to me, I would just have made the eyes flat and printed on and put like a slight gloss over it instead of adding that depth between them, because it casts that shadow on his eyes that look a little weird. But let me fix the light a little bit. Yeah, he's very good. He is very awesome. These new joint systems that they use, I like the legs especially. Look at that bend back there. That's a lot further back than like other figures, especially the 5-inch Prime figures. You know, I figured since Sonic Prime figures were going to be 5 inches, that their articulation would be so good, but they are very lackluster. So this guy has some awesome range. Here, there's a joint right there on his arm, but I can't get it to move or anything. Let me see. It's honestly kind of scary. Let me try this one. Does it not articulate? I'm trying to like, you know what, I'm not gonna break it. There is a joint there, as y'all can see, but I'm not able to move it, so I'm not even gonna risk it. But yeah, I'll get some cool poses. Oh yeah, there's his thigh swivel and then his bicep joint right here. Yeah, this guy's great. Next, let's move on to Robotnik. All right, here is Ivo Robotnik. It is very interesting that they chose to specify Ivo Robotnik. It makes me wonder if they're gonna do any merchandise for Gerald Robotnik, just to like, maybe that's why they differentiated him, because I think in the movie 2 merch, it was just Dr. Robotnik. But let's get a turnaround on his box. Oh yeah, here's his barcode. Let me get you guys Sonic's barcode. Let me see if it focuses. Yeah, there's his barcode. I don't know how it works at Walmart. Here's Sonic's. All right, let's get a turnaround. Dr. Ivo Robotnik. Ivo Robotnik proves that you can't keep an evil genius down for long and sets his sights on world domination. No big deal. Now, I never got the movie 2 Robotnik just because he kind of looked a little mid. This one looked kind of mid also. I don't know if, I don't know. He's all right. I'm not a big fan of, I guess because it's hard to nail that human look for a cheap $15 figure. So I understand. But let's rip him open. He has more articulation than his Sonic Movie 2 counterpart. All right, here is Ivo Robotnik out of box. This guy, wow, his legs are made very weird. It is just one big ball joint. That is pretty interesting. But, I mean, the motion is pretty good. Look at that. For having a big old coat, you know, you would think his motion, wow, look at that diaphragm joint. That's actually pretty decent movement right there. Let me see. Let me move his arms. Let me put his limbs straight. So I can tilt him back about that much, and I can tilt him, bend him forward. Forward isn't too much, but that backwards movement is pretty good, so I can even get him in like an evil laughing pose. Like that. That looks pretty darn good. His face also looks very good. I'm gonna get a close-up on his face also so you guys can see. Like I said, I wasn't too big of a fan of how the movie 2 figure looked. But man, this one's pretty solid. His articulation is amazing also. He's got the wrist joints also, so he can do like Spider-Man thwips like right there. Yes, sir. And then what else about him? He has butterfly joints also. So you can get him to bend his arm back more and forward. Same right there. You got some butterfly joint action right there. His coat, it's like flexible, so that allows for that motion to be made. It's a very pretty good figure. Oh, he also does have a thigh swivel and bicep swivel. And his feet can bend downwards as well. which is very good. This guy is actually pretty solid. I might actually keep him this time. He'll go well with Sonic, and let me see his head movement. His head doesn't really look up or down any. That reminds me, does Sonic have... Sonic can't... He can kind of move his head up and down, but just a slight bit. Eggman can't really move his head up and down. Forward, he can move it forward about that much. His coat kind of stops it. But backwards, he has some pretty good backwards motion. His coat does stop that as well, but you can get him to run. All right, I think that's about it for Eggman. Let's go to the ultimate life form. All right, guys, here he is. The ultimate life form himself, Shadow T. Hedgehog. This guy is the one I was most anticipating. I guess mainly because we haven't seen his movie design yet, other than like leaked renders. So it's very cool seeing an actual action figure of him. Oh, here's his barcode also. All right, the back of the figure. You can see the prototype figure had his yellowish skin from like the way his artwork looks in games and stuff. I prefer, you know, I like the renders of like the game artwork, how it has yellow skin, but I prefer the tan and the peach more on like the figure itself. I feel like the yellow here looks a bit odd. But let's see his bio. It says, Shadow is a fierce and mysterious foe who is determined to accomplish his goals and won't let anything stand in his way. 22 points of articulation, just like Sonic, so I'm sure their articulation is going to be very similar. So without further ado, let's rip him open. All right, there is Shadow, and oh my goodness, this has to be one of... Like, Jakks really peaked with this figure. He looks so much better in hand than all the online pictures I've seen of him. My main gripe is you could probably already see it from here, his eyes. You can see they only printed what you could see like from the front angle. So whenever you put him to the side, oh man, is that hideous. You see that hard cutoff where his eye ends and the white continues. And it just doesn't look that good in certain angles. But from the front, this guy looks sick. The sculpt work on him is absolutely magnificent also. Like, look at his shoes. I don't know if you can kind of see the details there in his shoes. Like, that is, like, it's so good. The bottom of his shoes also. And just the fur detail on him and everything. Look at his inhibitor rings and his, like, cuffs around his shoes. There's like paint, like little strip of yellow paint in there, and like it's just textured everywhere, man. He feels amazing. He feels so much better than Sonic. And if we take a look around the back of him, we could see that he has like his strips and everything, and he even has an extra quill on the back of his head, like movie Sonic does. Same for his back spikes. But let's get into articulation. It's very similar to Sonic's. He's got the butterfly joints that allow his arms to go forward and even like touch in the center. And they can go backwards. And then he's got the torso swivel. And then he's got the legs that can go forward. Let's see. They're not clicking like Sonic's was. Well, his legs can go backwards about that much, but with the leg joints you don't really need to make it go much further, and they can go forward about, oh yeah, there we go, about that much, almost 90 degrees, not quite, but that's still pretty good motion right there. So you can get him into some awesome running poses, and then also he has where he can point his foot down, point it upwards a little bit, and then you could swivel it side to side, which is one of my favorite features, so that way he can like have his legs stretched out a little bit but also be standing and looking normal. You can kind of see it there. Very great, very great. And his cuffs are sculpted onto his wrists, so his cuffs don't rotate. So I don't know if it's supposed to be where his strip is on the back of his arm, whereas usually it's on the side of his arm. You can see it right here. It's usually supposed to be right there, but it's on the back of his arm. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that. It's like that on both of his arms. So maybe And then his, oh, there we go. Look, it works for Shadow, but not Sonic. His wrist can move forwards and backwards. And then his finger, his fingers can move together, open and closed, to make an awkward looking fist and an awkward looking open hand. That's pretty much all you get with Shadow. Oh, and then he can look up and down a lot better than Sonic. Look at that motion right there. Down, up. Very great, very good. I love this guy so much. I am just so glad I was able to get this guy in hand. Man, these shoes, I am astonished by the detail in the shoes. They look amazing. Now let me get him next to Sonic. There they are next to one another, and man, they look so good side by side. Shadow looks so awesome. Like, you could tell they put a lot of care into Shadow, and he's also a much heftier figure compared to Sonic. Like, he's got some weight to him. If someone came and like robbed me, I would throw Shadow before I threw Sonic. Then again, I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to Shadow, so. But I know he could do some damage. But man, overall, these 5-inch figures are gorgeous, and I really hope to see this articulation brought over to the 4-inch line. I know there are rumors about a 5-inch modern line, and I really hope that it's true, along with articulation like this on them, because man, I would kill for a modern Sonic with butterfly joints, torso swivel, you know, they can look up and down. Maybe don't add the hands, the finger articulation, and don't add the lenticular eyes. I'm not a big fan of those eyes or hands. Everything else is like amazing, actually. I am very pleasantly surprised by the look of these guys. I wasn't expecting to like them so much, but you know, I'm glad. You know, Jakks really killed it. And then here they are next to the 4-inch. The 4-inch. I couldn't find my 4-inch modern Sonic figure, or my 4-inch movie Sonic one. So you can see Eggman actually scales pretty decently with the movie Sonic. He's still a little bit too small, but he's not bad. I know a lot of people were upset that we didn't get a 4-inch Shadow, but honestly, I prefer this articulation over the articulation on this guy, which still isn't too bad. But that is it, guys, for my unboxing of these Sonic Movie 3 figures. If I get a Tails, I might do an unboxing of him. I'm not quite sure yet. Hopefully I can find him soon. As I mentioned, they are only two Sonics, one Shadow, and either an Eggman or Tails per box. So hopefully you guys can get all the figures you want. Let me know what you guys think about these figures down in the comment section below. I'm TitoTheOG, and I will see you guys next time.